Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Stories around the world, stories here at home. This is the National News broadcast bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. We're ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I'm Charita Vinipurarachi.
And I'm Kasini Balachandra Adhikari. We'll start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Israel Prime Minister vows to respond to Iran missile attack. Clashes between Israel and Hezbollah worsen. Foreign Employment Bureau confirms that the agency is remaining cautious over the Sri Lankans in Israel and Lebanon. Many foreign diplomats extend support to the president to strengthen international cooperation. Former parliamentarian Sumantiran praises the government's move to slash privileges of parliamentarians. Residents living close to the Polgola Reservoir are alleged to dispose waste to the Mahaveli River. Cyclone Helen claims 135 lives in the USA.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top story. The Middle East is edging ever closer towards a full-blown regional war, and Israel vowed to respond to Iran's huge baggage of ballistic missiles fired at the country yesterday night.
Meanwhile, the oil prices climbed about 3% yesterday after Iran fired a salvo of ballistic missiles at Israel. Iran has unleashed its largest ever attack on Israel, firing 180 to 200 ballistic missiles late yesterday, most of which were apparently intercepted by anti-missile defenses employed by Israel, the United States and Jordan, according to those countries' governments. The Israeli military said that most of the missiles were intercepted, but that a small number struck central and southern Israel. Israeli officials vowed to respond after Iran fired a barrage of ballistic missiles at key military and security targets in Israel. Iran says the strikes were in response to attacks on Gaza and Lebanon. The Israeli military has announced its first combat deaths since launching ground operations in Lebanon this week. Danish police said that 3 men have been arrested in connection with the explosions overnight near the Israeli embassy in Copenhagen. The Lebanese army says Israeli forces breached approximately 400 meters into Lebanese territory today and then withdrew after a short period. The statement was the first official acknowledgement from Beirut that Israeli forces have carried out a ground incursion into Lebanon. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has slammed the presence of American and European nations in the Middle East. The remarks by Khamenei today were his first since Tehran fired a barrage of ballistic missiles at Israel the previous night. He made no mention of the attack. He said Western presence is a source of conflicts, wars, concerns and enmities. Nations can manage themselves and live together in peace. Iran has long seen the presence of United States. Meanwhile, the oil prices climbed about 3% yesterday after Iran fired a salvo of ballistic missiles at Israel in retaliation for Israel's campaign against Tehran's Hezbollah allies in Lebanon. The cost of Brent crude stands at between $70 and $75 a barrel today morning.
Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau says that Sri Lankan mission in Israel and Lebanon remain cautious over the Sri Lankans living in these countries. These remarks were shared during a media briefing held in Colombo today. Additional General Manager of Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau Gabini Senratyapa said that around 12,000 Sri Lankans are employed in Israel. He said that no Sri Lankan living in the country has been affected from the war situation. Also, he said that the Sri Lankan mission in Israel remains cautious over the ongoing situation and the conditions of the Sri Lankans. He further said that the Sri Lankan mission has provided a necessary hotlines for the Sri Lankans to connect with them in case of an emergency. Meanwhile, he said that around 7,600 Sri Lankans are employed in Lebanon, and the Sri Lankan mission is also remaining cautious of the ongoing situation in the country. He said that around 18 Sri Lankans have reached out to the Sri Lankan mission in Lebanon for protection, and they are being sheltered in 2 safe houses. He pointed out that if a Sri Lankan in Lebanon has been affected from the crisis, details in this regard have been shared on the mission's Facebook account. And meanwhile, President Anurakkumar Dissanayake met with foreign diplomats and representatives today in line with the current government's policy of strengthening bilateral relations globally.
The meetings were held at the Presidential Secretariat and they congratulated the President over his election victory. During the meeting, High Commissioner Santosh Jha emphasized the long-standing friendship and close proximity between India and Sri Lanka, highlighting the importance of maintaining strong bilateral ties. He expressed India's readiness to support Sri Lanka's development process in all possible ways and wished to see Sri Lanka emerge as a peaceful and stable nation in the region. The High Commissioner also praised the President's anti-corruption initiatives outlined in his manifesto, particularly stressing the importance of digitalization in government systems to effectively combat corruption. Ambassador of China to Sri Lanka, Ki Shengong, expressed China's continued commitment to supporting Sri Lanka and its future endeavors. Ambassador Ki reaffirmed the Chinese government's continued commitment to enhancing bilateral relations with Sri Lanka, emphasizing the significance of ongoing collaborative projects. He highlighted the active engagement of the China Development Bank and Exim Bank in supporting Sri Lanka's development initiatives. Moreover, Ambassador Ki assured that China will provide comprehensive assistance in the debt restructuring process. Ambassador of Japan to Sri Lanka, Mr. Koshi Hideaki, conveyed the Japanese government's strong commitment to further enhancing the long-standing relationship between Japan and Sri Lanka. Both leaders discussed areas of mutual interest and expressed their intention to continue working closely to strengthen ties between the two nations. Ambassador Mr. Koshi lauded the President's focus on eradicating corruption and promoting transparent governance as outlined in his manifesto. Expressing Japan's willingness to support in these initiatives, he also confirmed that Japan-funded projects such as the Bandar-Naik International Airport expansion and the terrestrial television broadcast digitalization project would resume. Additionally, the ambassador reaffirmed Japan's support for providing opportunities for Sri Lankans to study the Japanese language and pursue employment in Japan, further strengthening the long-term friendship between the two nations. British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Andrew Patrick conveyed personal congratulations and warm wishes from King Charles III and the Prime Minister of Britain, Sir Keir Starmer, expressing their goodwill for the President's leadership. The High Commissioner expressed British government's strong support for Sri Lanka's efforts to attract foreign direct investments and emphasized the importance of collaboration in the education sector. He also conveyed the UK's support towards the IMF program and the debt restructuring program. President Anurakkumar Dissanayake met with the Cuban ambassador to Sri Lanka, Andre Marcelo Gonzalez Garrido, this morning. The meeting focused on bolstering the long-standing diplomatic and friendly relations between the two countries. The ambassador Gonzalez highlighted Cuba's success in dengue control and conveyed Cuba's willingness to share expertise and collaborate on public health initiatives aimed at eradicating dengue in Sri Lanka. High Commissioner of Australia to Sri Lanka, Paul Stevens, held a courtesy meeting with the President this morning. During the discussion, the High Commissioner reassured its support in key areas including maritime safety, border control and counter-terrorism efforts. High Commissioner Stevens emphasized Australia's commitment to supporting Sri Lanka's IMF program and expressed a strong interest in promoting foreign direct investments in the country. He also highlighted the importance of maintaining economic transparency as a crucial element for fostering investor confidence. Canadian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Eric Walsh highlighted corruption and the lack of safety as significant obstacles to attracting foreign investments. He expressed his appreciation for the President's committee to eradicating corruption and ensuring a secure environment in the country. Ambassador Walsh emphasized that with the proposed reforms, Sri Lanka would be better positioned to attract international investments. He also reaffirmed Canada's support for Sri Lanka's engagement with the International Monetary Fund and the ongoing debt restructuring process. President of the Asian Development Bank, Masatsugu Asakawa, congratulated President Anurakkumar Dissanayake on his election as the President of Sri Lanka. He has praised the people of Sri Lanka for conducting a peaceful and orderly democratic election and highlighted the long-standing partnership between ADB and Sri Lanka. The ADB President emphasized the vital role of President Disanayake's leadership in stabilizing the economy and steering it towards a more inclusive, sustainable and resilient future.
And meanwhile, a high-level delegation of the International Monetary Fund is scheduled to arrive in the country today. Director of the IMF Asia Pacific Department, Krishna Srinivasan, is leading the IMF delegation. The IMF delegation is scheduled to conduct the visit from October 2nd to 4th and expected to meet with President Kumar Dissanayake and top-level officials during the visit. The delegation is expected to discuss latest economic developments and economic reforms under Sri Lanka's economic program supported by the IMF. Cabinet spokesman Vijitha Herath, speaking at a cabinet media briefing yesterday, said that only preliminary level discussions will be held with the delegation.
A discussion between acting IGP Priyantha Veerasurya and the officials of the Election Commission was held today at the Election Commission. They discussed the matters relating to the upcoming general election at this meeting. They focused special attention on ensuring security at polling stations, district and provincial level. DIGs representing all 9 provinces and senior police officers relating to the election were present at this occasion.
Former parliamentarian of the United National Party Saman Ratnapuri says that majority of the members of the alliance led by UNP has agreed to contest the next general election under the symbol of gas cylinder. He made these remarks following a discussion held at the Flower Road office today. Former parliamentarians who will contest under this alliance and several others were present at this discussion. Former parliamentarian Saman Ratnapuri said that United National Party is agreed with contesting under the elephant symbol. He said that another proposal is there to contest under the chair symbol. He said that however majority including the SLPP parliamentarians are willing to contest under the symbol of gas cylinder, and he said that a final decision will be taken by tomorrow evening. Views were expressed at 2 media briefings held today regarding the United National Party does not contest the election jointly with the Samagi Jana Balavege. Former parliamentarian Vasantha Apabandar said that Samagi Jana Balavege joining the business-minded group of the UNP is similar to cutting our heads with our own swords. He said that therefore SJB will not have relations with corrupted group, and he said that we will ask them to go to their former places. Former parliamentarian Rajitha Senaratne said that all the people in the country want to have unity between these groups. He said that some elements are scared to pose a proper challenge to the president. He said that this situation was similar when President Gotabaya Rajapaksa won the presidency. He said that now some parties are hesitating to conduct challenging politics against President Kumar Dissanayake. Meanwhile, former parliamentarian Roshan Ranasinghe has been appointed as the chairman of the Baubipa Janata Party. Former parliamentarian Professor Channa Jayasubana has been appointed as the vice chairman. Former parliamentarian Milan Jatilega was appointed as the Gampaha district organizer of the Baubipa Janata Party. Chairman of the Baubipa Janata Party Roshan Ranasinghe said that Baubipa Janata Party is committed to build a middle leftist camp within the Baubipa Janata Party. He said that our program is to form estate entrepreneurs, and he said that the party will take the challenge to carry forward a productive economy leading on local groups.
Former parliamentarian M.A. Sumandaran says that he agrees with the measures taken by the government over the privileges and entitlements of the parliamentarians. He made these remarks during a media briefing today. Former parliamentarian M.A. Sumandaran said that the party has decided to contest the election under the Ilangai Tamil Arasukatchi party symbol. He said that the party is ready to conduct discussions with the government and extend maximum support. He said that he agrees with the slashing of privileges of parliamentarians, and privileges are not required for public service. He added that the party supports the decision taken by the government in this regard.
The Container Transport Vehicle Owners Association has decided to reduce container transport charges by 4% in line with the reduction of fuel prices. This decision is effective from last midnight. Chairman of the Container Transport Vehicle Owners Association, Sanat Manjula, said that after minimizing the corruptions and with the fuel price decrease, the container transport charges have been reduced by 4%. He said that these exporters and importers and clearing agencies should reduce all relevant charges by 4%.
It has been revealed that about 50% of the residents living either side of the Mahavali River bank close to the Polkolla Reservoir area have used to dispose their sewage and solid waste to the Mahavali River. Sri Lanka Mahavali Authority says that this has become a severe environmental problem. Officials of the Sri Lanka Mahavali Authority have visited the area recently to check the waste management near the riverbanks and the damage caused to the riverbanks by the disposal of waste and to conduct raids to nab errant persons. Over 1,000 residents and businessmen living close to the riverbank of the area close to the Polkolla River. It has been revealed that 50% of these people dispose their waste directly to the Mahavali River. This has become a severe environmental hazard. Land officer of the Polkolla Reservoir Duty Engineer's Office A. Senviratna says that vehicle service centres, industries, canteens and several other business places located either side of the river banks dispose their waste to the river. They are to take legal actions against these culprits.
And meanwhile, the new technology faculty of the Sri Lanka Rajarata University in Anuradhapura was declared open today under the patronage of the chairman of the University Grants Commission, Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga. A sum of $33 million was spent for this project. The new faculty has been set up in a land block of 2 acres. Construction work started in 2021 under the funds of Asian Development Bank. The project was carried out by the State Science and Technological Human Resources Development Program. It has 800-seated auditorium, 3-storied library and modern laboratory and meeting halls. 5 departments, namely Bioapps, Electrical and Electronics, Food, Information and Communication and Portal Technology come under this faculty. Director of the Asian Development Bank, Takfu Mikadano, Vice-Chancellor of the Rajarata University, Professor Sanjeevani Ginigadara and a group of professors were present at this occasion.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says that she will intervene to create a better world for children. She made these remarks at a ceremony held at the Nalanda International Buddhist Institute Education Institute in Kelaniya yesterday. The Ministry of Education has organized this ceremony to mark the World Children's Day. It was held under the title of The Mess Lesson. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that people have been trapped in an intensive competitive life. She said that it is pathetic to say that the elders themselves are responsible for causing youth this suffering. The Prime Minister said that we, the elders, have to be committed to change this pathetic situation. The government will definitely change this system and take measures to develop humanitarian qualities among people. She also said that it's our responsibility to create a conducive world for both children and elders to live in absolute happiness. The Premier added that she has missed a number of lessons and invited all to support her to change this world. Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology Tilaka Jayasundara and several others were present at this occasion. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya also joined an observation tour at the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital yesterday.
And today is the 6th day of the Colombo International Book Fair. Large crowds are gathering at the BMICH premises today as well. The national television is the official media sponsor for this event this time as well. The 6th day of the Colombo International Book Fair has closed. About 450 bookstores are open for the public. Large number of local and foreign books are under various publishers are available at the book fair with concessionary rates. National Television is the official media sponsor for the 25th International Book Fair this year as well. Cartoons, CDs and DVDs, Nanamira question paper sets are also available at the Roo Entertainment Stall. People are invited to visit the Roo Entertainment Stall. And 3 newborn lion cubs in the Pinnavilla Auburn Zoological Gardens were named yesterday in line with the World's Children's Day. There are the 3 lion cubs named Faru, Duma and Sio. They are the 3 months 22 days old. They were born at the Hambantota Safari Park on the 7th of May this year. Though the mother lion is named Mira bore the cubs, she refused to milk the cubs. Therefore, the authorities of the zoological gardens had to save these cubs for giving proper nutrition. They were soon separated from the mother and brought to the Pinnavilla Auburn Zoological Gardens. 2 female workers and a male worker were assigned to look after these cubs. They were very well cared for so far, and zoological authorities invited the public to propose suitable names for them. These 3 names were selected from the list of names sent by the public, and further children under 12 years who came to the Pinnavilla Auburn Zoological Garden premises yesterday were permitted to enter the garden free of charge. And in addition, the 3 employees were read. These 3 lion cubs were also felicitated with souvenirs at the Pinnavilla Auburn Zoological Garden premises.
And here's a few more local news items in brief. 31 super winners created by the Development Lotteries Board were distributed with cheques at the head office of the DLB. It was held under the patronage of new chairman R. Hemanthaswanathilaka. The Development Lotteries Board contributes funds for the treatment of patients suffering from heart, chronic and complex diseases and to nurture the Mahapala Higher Education Scholarship Fund. Sri Lanka Press Council has organised a special programme in line with the International News Day that falls today. International journalists who represent Sri Lanka participated at this event and they discussed the future journey of media. Police Special Task Force in Mana has seized a haul of 108 grams of ice narcotics with a street value of 1.7 million rupees concealed to sell secretly. The officials of the Mana SDF camp recovered this stock while hiding at a place near a private tuition class. Prasanna Rajaguru, a leading businessman who was introduced to the international business sector by national television, arrived in the island recently. He participated at a prize-giving ceremony held at the Vijayapala Mahavidyalaya in Mathale. Prasanna Rajaguru is an old boy of the 108 years old Vijayapala Mahavidyalaya. He donated prizes for the students who showed their talents in sports, education and extracurricular activities. Prasanna Rajaguru also agreed to provide sponsorship for educating school children for the use of artificial intelligence at global level. Zonal Educational Director Naomi Hettiarachchi were present at this occasion. Foreign news on the other side of this break.
டெங்கு நோயை இல்லாதொழிப்பது உங்கள் திறமையும் கடமையுமாகும். வாரத்தில் ஒரு முறை என்றாலும் உங்கள் சூழலை பற்றி சிந்தித்து பாருங்கள்.
சுகாதார அமைச்சின் டெங்கு ஒழிப்பு பிரிவின் தகவல்.
Welcome back with international stories. In at least 63 people have died and millions have been left without power as Hurricane Helene rolled through the southeastern United States. In North Carolina, more than 400 roads remain closed with the mountain town eventually largely cut off. Supplies are being airlifted to residents, and State Governor Roy Cooper said officials continued drawing rescues with boats, helicopters and large vehicles to help those stranded in floodwaters, including about 50 workers.
At least 45 people have died and many others are missing after 2 migrant boats capsized off the coast of Djibouti. The International Organization for Migration stated that the boats left Yemen with 310 people on board before sinking in the Red Sea off the East African nation today. The Djibouti's Coast Guard said that to date, 61 individuals are still missing and the search operations are continuing relentlessly. It is the latest boat disaster to hit the route described as one of the busiest and most dangerous in the world, used by refugees and migrants from Africa. A large-scale search began early on Monday, supported by the International Organization for Migration, with 115 survivors now rescued. The boat sank just 150 meters from a beach near Djibouti's northwest Khor Angar region. Thousands of African migrants have been sailing across the Red Sea towards the oil-rich Gulf each year, seeking to escape conflict, natural disasters and poor economic prospects.
Centuries of China honey rice terrace draws tourists around the world. China honey rice terrace in Yunnan province, stretching across mountain slopes at altitude from 700 to 1,800 meters above sea level, boasts a history spanning around 1,200 years and reflecting wisdom of harmonious coexistence between humans and nature. The cultural landscape of Honju honey rice terrace, covering at least 16,600 hectares in total, was inscribed as a UNESCO World Cultural Heritage Site in 2013. As the harvest season draws to a close, the terrace presents a breathtaking view under sunlight, attracting visitors from across the country. In 2023, the honey rice terrace received over 4.23 million visitors, generating more than 3.8 billion yuan in revenue.
And in your sports news tonight, Sri Lanka Air Force basketball teams who won both men's and women's Super Championship basketball tournament organized by Maldivian Basketball Association reached the country yesterday.
The tournament was recently held in Malé in Maldives. Basketball teams representing 4 nations took part in the tournament. Even though the women's team lost the first match they faced in the tournament, they managed to win the second match. The Sri Lanka Air Force women's team defeated their opponents, Queens, in the finals by 74 points to 72 to clinch the trophy. The men's team managed to win all 3 matches they faced in the tournament and defeated Red Wings in the finals 77 to 71 to win the trophy. President of the Sri Lanka Air Force Basketball Scott Air Commodore Amal Pereira and officials of the Sri Lanka Air Force were present at the airport to welcome the women's and the men's team.
The 92nd edition of the Sir John Tabor Senior Athletic Championship was commenced recently at the Sugandasa Stadium in Colombo. Over 3,000 athletes are taking part in the tournament. The track and field events are being held under 3 age categories: under 16, under 18 and under 20. The 4-day tournament will be concluded tomorrow.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news digest. Tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita signing with Kasuni. Stay safe and good night.
Good night.